see, as I speak, speech coming at the bottom. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see what I say typed at the bottom. That shouldn't be whatever's going on there. Have I clicked a button? Let me stop. Yeah, you can see that. Let me stop share. Let's click share again. Let's do, yeah, I'm clicking buttons here. I got a new computer and I'm not overly familiar with it. It's a little bit different than my last one, but actually, let's not do the video. Let's get started. Let's get moving. Oh, it's still doing that. Why is that? Must be some kind of setting. Click over here. No, that's not right either. Stop share. Oh, dear, 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 dear. Let's go again and see, can we do it? It's not in audio. Anyway, we'll have to put up with it. What can we do? Technology is a wonderful thing. So let's click this and see what we can do.
Recording in progress.
Well, welcome to tonight's call, and thank you for joining us. We're here to examine, turn around, toss it upside down, peel the onion, dig into the information, check out who's behind the Aurum Foundation. We want to know more about who's operating the company. We want to know who the CEO is. We want to know who the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, is. We want to know, do these guys have experience? We want to know, do they have money? Because it takes money to build an ecosystem, as they're suggesting. And we want to know about their licensing and things like that. We also want to know on this call a little bit about their product suite. What are they offering? What's on the table for you, for me, for anybody? Is it interesting? Is it something we need? Is it something we want? Is it something that other people need? Is it something that other people want? So we're going to check out the products tonight. And at the very end, we're going to take a look at the opportunity as well. So without further ado, let's take a look. Now, I don't work for this company. I'm totally independent. I'm just here to share my own views and opinions. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have anything to sell. I don't have any Visa cards. I don't have any trading products. I don't have any ATM machines. I have nothing to sell to you. I'm only here to share information, my opinion, my view on this exceptional ecosystem. I see a legal and corporate structure that is starting to grow. I see that they have operations for their neobank operating in Europe. I see they have an investment company set up and licensed under the Emirates. And then I see also a foundation created in Hong Kong. I've had a look at the paperwork. I used to have it in this presentation. I may have taken it out, but I've had a look at those documents, and they're up for view as well. And you can see them in the office. You can actually go and take a photograph on the wall of their certain licenses. Now, recently, they have got a banking license, which is quite interesting, and that's operating out of Aurum, Canada. And the rumor is they're going to open offices in Canada as well. They do have offices in Dubai, but that's a great step up to enter North America, particularly starting in Canada, and then possibly we can see them moving towards the United States as they continue to grow. The company's not based in Europe. It's not based in the United States. It's not based in Asia. It's got a whole plethora of talent from around the world. On the left-hand side, we see Leonardo. I met Leonardo. Actually, I stayed a week with Leonardo, and many of you guys on the call did meet him as well at the launch event. But I went and spent a week with him in Brazil, would you believe it? And this guy, he's not a flashy guy. He's not a salesperson. He's very humble, very quiet, very pleasant gentleman. And Bryan Benson said this, that he wouldn't have anybody in the world open his exchange than this man. He reckons this guy's the best. This guy has worked at government level to create blockchain and tokenization for governments. He's also been a former strategic partner with Binance in South America. And I guess that's how Bryan knows him. Al Risky, he's the director of strategy. He's from Asia. We've got Nicholas Gellan, also from Australia, I believe. And again, a young man with a lot of experience in business development, a lot of experience aligning ecosystems that grow. And I didn't meet him personally, but I was on a particular Zoom with him, a very, very intelligent young gentleman. And then we've got Brent and Tobias. These guys are working as advisory counsel for our venture capitalists. VCs are the kind of institutions with big money, the hedge funds, the larger type client, these guys deal with that. And they're speaking now at Consensus. Consensus is a large blockchain event coming up soon. And these guys will be representing Aurum at this event. For our African relations, we've got Bukari. He's the ex-Deputy Finance Minister from Sierra Leone. He's on board with us, as is Nick Patel. Nick has two companies I'm aware of. Number one is called Clink Gold, CLINQ Gold. And he's the CEO of Bank of Bullion. So when we talk about Bank of Bullion, we know we're talking about gold, don't we? And the company has already released an RWA, a real world asset, where 50% of the product is given to you in physical metal, 24 karat gold, that you can physically have. And the other 50% goes to a specific algorithm that's designed to trade gold against the dollar. So on the right-hand side, let's call it one produces a yield for you. And on the left-hand side, half your investment is in gold. Now, gold just stares at you. Gold just looks at you. Gold doesn't do anything, but it is a precious metal. It is a very valuable asset. It is honest money. And this particular product gives you two, I suppose, strategies. One, to acquire physical metal, and the other side, to trade and get a yield from gold. And that's a very interesting product you can learn more about. But the man we all believe in, the man we're all excited about, is on the screen right now. This is Bryan Benson from United States. Did his schooling over in California in Santa Barbara, just I believe that's north of Los Angeles. When he left university, he went straight into the bank and he worked for Morgan Stanley, a very reputable bank. He became a trader over there. He traded futures and other things at Morgan Stanley. He gained a lot of experience there, but then he moved into Web3. Now, Web3, we could probably call cryptocurrency as part of Web3, blockchain Web3. He got heavily involved in Web3 because this man is very interested in technology, and he worked for a company called Binance. He was part of the team that created Binance Pay. He also brought the Lightning Network to Binance, but more than that, he brought up to 20% of Binance's revenue because this man was the managing director for LATAM. Now, LATAM is an abbreviation for Latin America, everywhere from, I suppose, if we take California, we go south, you're talking about Mexico, through Central America, all the way down to South America. And this man opened all of that region. He was responsible for the banking relationships. He was responsible for developing the business down there, everywhere from Peru, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. And a man with a lot of experience, but more than that, a man with a lot of connections. And you're going to find out how he builds these connections and why that's valuable to this community. I did a quick Google on him. He was everywhere, and all for good reason. And you can see there are images here when he's much younger than he is today. There's images as he appears today. And that tells us all that there's history here. We're not dealing with some actor. We're not dealing with somebody unknown. This man is a man with a reputation. This man is well known. He's quite famous. And I was glad to see this when I Googled him. I then also found out that Forbes had written positively about this opportunity. And that's a big statement because Forbes is a very reputable media company. They create the rich lists. They do the interviewing, these big top CEOs. So when you see the likes of Forbes writing positively, that would give you an indication that we're looking at something quite good here. And of course, at one point, Bryan was also recognized on the Forbes Council. So they had a whole page on Bryan because they respect that this gentleman is a man of good intent. This man is a man of expertise in his field. And I have to say just right now that Bryan's actually going in for some surgery on Friday. He's had previous surgery, so he's not just too well at the moment. So we'll all pray that he gets through that all right. Again, I was texting him just a few days ago. He's good state in his mind, but he's a little bit. I suppose he's a little bit concerned. They went in and removed a lump, and they had to go in for second surgery. So we'll pray that he recovers from that quite well. But he's very, very positive about that. Let's move on now and look at some of the other exciting things that Bryan brought to the table. He brought this Visa card, and when you put the names of Morgan Stanley Bank, Binance, Forbes magazine, and Visa together, maybe you start spinning in your mind some thoughts about this. This sounds very, very interesting. And we'll talk more about this card later, but this gives you an opportunity to spend cryptocurrency anywhere in the world. And the exciting component of this particular card means that one part of it means you don't need to provide a utility bill. You don't need to provide a bank statement. You don't need to provide a passport or driver's license to get this card. It's quite incredible. We'll talk about that in a while. Now, last year we traced Bryan Benson's movements. We wanted to know where he was speaking, what was he doing, and he was out there strutting his stuff. He was out there building his brand. I mean, this man went on such a campaign last year. It was incredible what he did, and maybe that's caused a little bit of his illness today, but he started off in South America. He went to the blockchain conference down in Argentina, and that was specifically only for the Ethereum blockchain. They have a whole week down there where they talk everything about smart contracts and Ethereum. From there, he went to London. I met him there myself. He then went to the Netherlands, and I flew with him to the Netherlands. From the Netherlands, I went back home, but then he continued on his journey. He went to Germany, then he went to Slovenia. He then went to Greece. He went to another country, not Luxembourg, maybe not Belgium, maybe Luxembourg or somewhere like that. He went to as well. He then went to Vietnam. He was in Hong Kong. He was in the Emirates. I mean, he just, it was incredible. He showed up everywhere. Now, this Token 2049 was in Singapore in October, and there were 25,000 people showed up to see him. The tickets were $1,400 to get in on the last day, which was incredible. And there were some big speakers there, the likes of the CEO of Binance. Richard was speaking as well. Now, of course, Richard and Bryan are friends. They work together in Binance, but Richard got the CEO job of Binance. And I think a lot of people are happy about Richard getting that job, because otherwise Bryan might have been over there. And we're glad that he's heading up operations here with Aurum. Towards the end of the year, he made his way to the Emirates, where he spoke at the Blockchain Week in different conferences. There were several conferences in that week between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. He was interviewed by Cointelegraph, Benzingo, many media companies interviewed him. Wendy O, the cryptocurrency expert on social media, she interviewed him. And that's something you should listen to, I believe, just to do part of your due diligence, to understand the man, to understand his vision, to listen to her questions, and more importantly, listening to his answers. That might give you some foundation in coming to some kind of decision about this opportunity. And here again, we have Bryan, second from the right, sitting next door to Sebastian Borget from Sandbox. Sandbox is a major crypto platform. 1inch over there. Anton as well was on stage. These were selected specialists in blockchain that were addressing a massive audience in the Emirates about the future of AI, about the future of technology, about the future of blockchain. And of course, Bryan was invited to the Satoshi Roundtable. Again, a very private meeting. Media is not allowed into this event. They take over a hotel. I'm just trying to think where it was. I think it was down in the Palms in Dubai at the time. And I'm trying to think the name of the hotel. There's another big hotel just like it in New York, a very famous hotel, but they have one in the Palms in Dubai, and the whole hotel is just taken over by these people, and they discuss the future of technology. I know that I actually called Bryan on a Friday morning at breakfast time, thinking I would get him before the event started. And he was sitting with Richard Teng from Binance that morning. He also was having breakfast with one of the key people out of, I was going to say, it's BlackRock. I'm looking for the name. BlackRock, a big financial institution, were down at that event as well. So Bryan's rubbing shoulders with the who's who in the industry, and that's very important for the development of the Aurum ecosystem. He's out there looking for partnerships. He's out there looking for liquidity partners for the exchange. He's out there looking for new products for his community. He's out there strutting his stuff. And here we again have him with his arm around the billionaire, Cici, the founder of Binance. And that does tell us all that we are speaking about the real Bryan Benson from Binance. And that gave me a lot of confidence in coming to a decision about this. But again, you're here to do your due diligence, and do seek professional advice before making any decisions. Understand the business you're getting into, and I hope the decision you make is the right one for you and for your family. Now, just 2 weeks ago, I met this gentleman, Mr. Andrew Isaacs, and many of you on this call met him as well. We spent 4 or 5 days with him. And again, a man with major experience. Andrew is now the chief operating officer, not the chief executive officer. Bryan Benson is the CEO, but this is next in command. This is the COO. And Andrew has 18 years experience in investment banking. That's very, very important. He's run a $23 billion fund, and he's managed digital assets of over $2 billion. Incredible experience for a young man as well. And the interesting thing about Andrew's initials, it's Andrew Isaacs. It's actually AI. And Andrew did a call for us yesterday. There was over 1,000 people showed up for Andrew's seminar last night. So a great gentleman, and we look forward to supporting him in developing the community and the product range that they're putting together. And it was also announced quite recently that the Canadian license is now in place. So we can see that Aurum has, it's actually called Aurum Nero AI Technologies Corp, the owner of the license. And that's one of the subsidiaries of the Aurum Foundation. This license has been secured. It's a full Canadian license, and it's a major milestone in the development of Aurum. And we would hope that this would lead to possibly opening other opportunities for us in North America. I believe there's rumors that they may open an office in Canada, and that's a major step in the development. And I just see here, as we watch this company grow, I see the product range growing, I see the community growing, but I also see the corporate structure and infrastructure growing. That's what I'm noticing. Anyway, let's just move off the company now, because we want to talk about the company. We also want to have a look at the products. What's the point of hearing about a great company if the products aren't any good? So let's take a look at what they're putting in store for us. They have this ATM, and that's not an ATM machine, it's a point of sale terminal. I've actually used this technology. Bryan Benson opened his briefcase and he came out with a machine. Now, it wasn't as nice as this. That's a very nice looking device. This was more like the ones you would see today in the shops. It's a quite bigger, chunkier version. And it's the prototype to this. But I tapped my card on it, and the transaction went through. It put a little chit at the top. The little receipt came out. It said, it actually said Bryan Benson Aurum. But on my bank statement, it also said Bryan Benson Aurum. And I made two transactions, one for $1, one for $5, as part of just testing this product. Now, why is anybody interested in this? Well, every business will be interested in this, because this accepts not just fiat payments, it also accepts crypto payments. So that's the first thing. The second thing, we pay customers much faster because of blockchain. The old traditional banking rails takes weeks and months for a shop to get its money. So if you go and have a coffee and you use your card, the coffee shop doesn't have the money. Visa has it. They have to wait on Visa shipping it back into the company. Whereas with this technology, we can settle payments as soon as instantly, or at our discretion, up to 72 hours to get all payments through to the shopkeeper. That makes it great for shops. It's more cash flow, but we also can reduce bank charges for clients as well, reducing fees, because blockchain is very efficient versus humans and the old Web 2 world. It's a more clunkier process. So these are some of the reasons that businesses will like this type of machine. But what's in it for you? Well, if you're the person that introduces this technology to a shop, you might have a friend, a cousin, a relative, maybe you work in a shop, and if you introduce this to a business, your digital wallet is entered in the software. That's my understanding. And you get a micro payment every time this device is used on the blockchain. Can you imagine that? Imagine you share this idea with a shopkeeper, and every time it's used, you're making money, even when you're sleeping. Now, they're also developing these ATM machines. These will be two-way ATM machines. They've already launched their exchange in public beta testing mode. There's a lot of more work to do, but it's working perfectly since November 2025. It's up and running. It's quite exciting. Why is it exciting? Because Bryan Benson has committed to give 50% of the profits from trading exchange fees back to this community. Imagine Binance said, hey guys, we did $1 billion this year. We're going to give our customers half of that. What a statement. Well, Bryan Benson's come out of the starting blocks, going to offer 50% of the commissions back to this community. And I think that's going to drive this through the roof once it goes into its full launching capacity. On the exchange, we have a liquidity product where you can get 17 to 20% on your currencies. So if you have a little bit of USDT sitting in a wallet doing nothing, or maybe a little bit of Bitcoin sitting over there that you haven't looked at for 2 years, here, putting it into the staking product, you can get free Bitcoin added to your account every day, or free Ethereum or XRP or USDT, your choice. 17 to 20% a year is better than property. 17 to 20% a year is actually better than gold. 17 to 20% a year is most certainly better than any bank as well. So it's a great, great, great product. And here's the kicker. If you want to liquidate, if you want to cash out, you're not locked in for a month or 6 months or a year. You press withdraw, and at any time you want. No lock-in on your money, which is a fabulous product for traditional business owners. Maybe you know people that would like to try that particular product. This is a screenshot I've just taken from a Zoom I had been attending. We have Nick Patel here speaking with Bryan Benson about the gold product. And here I would like you all to listen to Bryan Benson himself, albeit he's heading towards hospital. I think he goes in on Thursday for an operation on Friday, but let's listen to him. He has a great vision. He wants to create 1,000 millionaires. Let's have a listen.
We're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires that don't have $1 million today.
Say that again, Bryan.
We're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires that don't have $1 million today. So if we can come up with a system whereby there's, hundreds of thousands of people in there, but 1,000 of these people turn into millionaires, then those assets are inside of our platform. That turns us into a unicorn right away. And so that's really the goal that I have as an executive at the company, is how do we get people that don't have $1 million today to get them to $1 million through saving, through yield-bearing assets, through a lot, compounding interest, through a lot of these things that have been around for a long time, but that not everyone in the world uses. And these are tools that are super important to get us there. So that's how we're measuring it internally, is if we can get to the point where we have 1,000 people that have become millionaires through our system and through working with our products, then that gets us really close to the unicorn valuation. And we want to be a fintech unicorn. I think Binance was the fastest fintech unicorn ever in the history. Yeah. I think it took less than 6 months. We used to have a slide about that in our pitch deck. So I'm pretty sure I've done this before. I've been involved in one of the fastest growing fintech unicorns in the world. And I think what we have at Aurum is actually very similar to when I started at Binance.
Did you hear those key words there? I've done this before. Yes, at Binance, they created $1 billion brand in just 6 months. And he said, I think what we have here at Aurum is very similar to that time when I started at Binance. He's feeling that same energy, and it's a great, great thing. 1,000 millionaires. Well, I rolled my eyes the first time I heard it. How on earth is he going to get 1,000 millionaires? Well, at a recent conference in the Maldives, the host of the event asked those in the audience that had already earned $1 million from the opportunity to stand up. Now, I didn't count them, but somebody told me, I think there was 8 or 9 people stood up at that event that have already made $1 million. So when he's aiming for 1,000 millionaires and 8 or 9 people were at that last event, I'm sure there's more than that weren't even at the event, but it shows you it is possible, that his vision, his dreams is possible. And really, it's down to you if that's something that whets your appetite. If you'd like to learn how to become one of Bryan Benson's millionaires, 1,000 of them, if he's got 8, 9, or 10 already, well, there's room for 990 more millionaires. And the vision is incredible. And he has a fabulous 10-year roadmap for this company that normally I would play at the start of the presentation. But you can get your hands on that. That's quite interesting as well. To get started with Aurum, it's just $20. But please don't treat it like a $20 business. Treat it like a $200,000 business. I know most people that have paid $20 for the business would never sell it for $20. It's worth a lot more than that. And I know many of you on this call would not sell your business for $20. So treat it like a $200,000 business, and you'll get those kind of rewards. Now, this is non-commissionable. So if you introduce somebody to the program, there's no commission. That's very, very important. In some regions, it wouldn't be seen as compliant to be incentivized to recruit people to a business. So Aurum are very clever in this respect. They will not pay you if you introduce people to the program. All of this money goes to the company. It deals for web servers, for customer support, and those type of things, and nobody makes any money. However, if your customer decides to use one of their products, well, then that's a different case. They're getting those products directly from Aurum. They're not getting them from you. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm sure you're not a financial advisor. So please don't be making any promises. Don't be giving any financial advice if you're not an advisor. You can point people at a website. You can point them to YouTube. You can point them to Amazon. You can point them to this, but you can't offer financial advice to anyone. People should seek professional financial advice if they're making any investment decisions. But paying your $20 does give you access to their products, a bit like the gym. When you pay your membership to the gym, you can use the running machine, the rowing machine, the weightlifting machine, the sauna, the steam room. Same here. You pay your $20, you can use their products, but you're getting these products from Aurum, not from your introducer. Your introducer doesn't have these products to sell you, so they can't even provide them. So you pay your $20 to the company, and that positions you to receive access to these wonderful products that they have. Now, I'm not going to cover all of their products because there's actually too many. This is an incredible library of products they put together. I'm told that this is everybody's favorite. It's called the XAI bot, or the EXAI bot, however you'd like to say that. This product's been around since the 11th of January 2023. And how do we know that? Is because we were invited to a call to meet the trading team, and we were able to ask questions and see the profits and the losses in the last 30 days profits. And one of the customers said, "Can you go to the deposits, please?" And they went to Binance, or I think it was Binance they were on, or they trade on different exchanges like Binance, Kraken, OKX, KuCoin, the major exchanges where the liquidity is. So one of the guys on the call said, "Can you go to deposits?" So the trading team went over and clicked deposits. Said, "Can you scroll down till I see the first deposit?" So they scrolled down to see when this started. And the first deposit made in the EXI bot was the 11th of January, 2023, over 3 years ago. And I was delighted to see that, because it shows that it's had longevity already for 3 years. It means it's consistent and sustainable. And the results have been phenomenal, over 500% in 3 years. I mean, that's just incredible. You can see on the screen here the results for April just passed. It made $18 million last month. That might sound like a big number to you, but it's in the world of trading, it's very, very little. The entire pool is just at 123 million. So it's quite a small company right now. And there's other companies trading billions of dollars. This is just 123 million right now. But I was able to see this when it was down at 10 million, and when it was 17 million, it was 30 million, it was 50 million. And I've tracked this for months and months and months, and it's now still remaining profitable at today's levels. So that's a little bit about it. On average, whilst it varies slightly every month, it's quite consistent. It's doing about 17% a month. Now, don't be thinking that's what you get. That's not on offer to you at all, or to me. That's what the entire fund generates, about 17.5% a month. What's available to you would depend on you, what you're prepared to open an account with. So you open an account with this neobank, and just like any other bank, you deposit whatever you wish. Let's say it was $102 or $114 or $206. There's no packages. You just load up what you'd like to put in your account. So let's say it's between 100 and 249. These customers are enjoying in around 10% a month. Now, it's not fixed at 10% a month. It's variable, because trading is up and down and variable. But on average, since this started, these customers are getting around about 10% a month. Again, past performance isn't indicative of any future results, but based on what it's done in the past, customers are getting these kind of results. Now, for those of you that can manage more than $249, let's say you tried $260 or $272 or $409 or $812. I said there's no package. You just put in what you wish. Well, between $249 and $1,000, these customers are benefiting to the tune of around 11% a month. Customers that could do between $1,000 and $2,500 are getting 12% a month. And these numbers are incredible. And obviously, the larger the account, the better the potential for your account. Now, I had a number of questions about this when I first saw it. And my first question was, if you're paying out this money to your customers, how is it that the company makes money? Where do they get their money? And I was told that the answer to my question was in front of me. It was on the screen, and I just didn't understand that. And they told me, well, the fund is doing 17.5%. So if you're getting 10% of that, the company makes the spread. They make that difference. They're getting 7% on all those small accounts. So the company's doing very, very well. For those of you that get 11%, the company makes 6%. For those of you that earn 12%, the company makes 5%. And every single instant, even the big customers, the company's always making money. And that's very, very, very important to have a company positioned to make profit, not just its clients. So that was my first question. My second question to them was, I think I asked them, well, can you take these profits out? Can you withdraw them? And they said, yes. And I said, yes, what? And they said, yes, you can withdraw your profits. So I said, when? And they said, whenever you want. And I went, right, like every day. And they said, if you wish. And I went, right. Okay, so you can withdraw your profits every day. Yes. Okay. And then my next question was, well, what do you charge? Is there fees to do this? Because I've seen some companies, they can charge up to 10% to take out your own money, which is crazy. And this guy says, we do have a handling fee of 1%. And I thought that was very, very, very fair. So that's one of their products. It's, I suppose, their flagship product. It's their oldest product. It's their most profitable product. There is a new product called Nairo, which is suggesting that it's doing, was it 27 to 31% a month in its trial periods. And that's a new product I'll talk about in a moment. But let's go back to this one, their flagship product. Here's an example of an account that started with $500 on the 17th of April last year. Can you see on the left-hand side, it says created the 17th of April last year. Now, in the deposit box, it says 882, not 500. That's because this account had made $382. So when I saw this, I wasn't overly impressed because $382 certainly wouldn't feed my family. But when I did the maths on this, I changed my mind. This is sensational. Because the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, it started on the 17th of April, but when or how long did it take to make this $382? And the answer to that question is on the bottom right hand of your screen. If you look down there at the blue arrow, can you follow me there? On the 17th of September. So if the account started on the 17th of April and we look at the 17th of September, we're talking about 5 months. And to make $382 on a 500 deposit represents 76% in 5 months. And for a small account like $500, I've got to say, that's sensational. I've been in the real estate business, started back in 1986, and I can get between 5 and 10% a year in real estate. So all those property moguls you know out there are generating 5 to 10% yield on their properties. It's very hard to get more than 10% on a property in a year. This is 76% in 5 months. That's why it's sensational. And that's just a small account. Let me show you another account. Now, again, this is a smaller account, and I'm not sharing this to show you. I'm just sharing this to be transparent and show you data that we have from a customer, not from the company. This is customer data shared. On the 10th of April, this account started with $10,000. This is a bigger type of customer. But after 5 weeks, this account had made $2,300. 5 weeks, $2,300. That's what, $400 a week almost? Nearly $500 a week. That's 23%. And we started to track this account last year. So it made 23% in 5 weeks. After 10 weeks, profit jumped up to 5,500. There was 10,000 deposited. So the profit element is 5,500, 55%. After 12 weeks, it went to $17,000. And after 4 months, this particular account doubled. Now, I'm not here to tell you your account will double. It depends on the circumstances. It depends on the size of your account. It depends on whether you reinvest your profits into the account or whether you withdraw those. But this particular account, which is compounded and reinvested its profits, has in fact doubled in 4 months. Again, past performance is no indication of what might happen in the future, but that's exactly what this account did. And yesterday, I was able to see this account again. And yesterday, I believe it was sitting at $85,000 or $86,000. So imagine $10,000 producing 76,000 of profit with no customers, with no Zooms, with no network. $76,000, a whole year's income from a $10,000 deposit. I think that's quite incredible. Now, people would say to you, well, how is it possible? Or it's not possible. Somebody says, that's not possible. It's not possible because of your frame of mind is not possible to understand. But the banks would give you 1 or 2% a year on your money. But the banks take your money and they put them into trading products like this themselves. And the banks are using AI. 80% of all trading today is conducted by AI trading, but they don't have this algorithm. One company offered $100 million for this technology, and Bryan Benson refused it. Here's a website called CoinMarketCap. I'm sure some of you might be familiar with it. It's a third-party website. It's nothing to do with Aurum. But what it does is it aggregates the results of all the exchanges and all the platforms. For instance, if Bitcoin is $75,000 on one platform, let's say Binance, and on Coinbase it's 75,400, and on Kraken it's 75,300, and on OKX it's 74,900. They're all different prices on the exchange. This site aggregates them and gives an average. So it's a nice site to get an overview on what's happening in the market. I just looked at the gainers here. This coin did 2,000% in a day, 24 hours. 2,000% in 24 hours. The one below it did 816% in 24 hours. Look at Pep Trump down here. Pepe Trump, 423% in a day. So when you see these type of numbers possible, all the AI needs to do is find this chart moving, find this movement, and grab just a tiny fraction of it without risking, just going in there, take a spot. We don't leverage trade, it's spot trading. So if they see the graph moving towards 100%, 200%, they know there's a move here. It just goes in and takes a little slice. Maybe it takes 0.5% or 1% or 0.3% and stops. So Aurum are purporting rewards of somewhere between 10 and 17% a month, not 2,000% in a day, 17% in a month. And when you see these kind of numbers, you start to go, well, okay, there is possibilities for this. But in fact, I do know live traders, and I've spoken to them myself. These guys can double your money in a day. They can get 100% in a day, but they can also lose your money. That's the difference. Human trading is probably not advised. Well, I'm not keen on human trading. Humans are they have emotional attachment. If they lose, they chase it and try and get it back. If they've had a bad day at the office or a bad day with a family or the wife, they're not thinking right. There's maybe something wrong with the child. Their mind could be anywhere. They're not as fast as AI. Aurum pays Bloomberg for a data feed that gives it the information it needs. Aurum link into every social media channel and every other exchange to find out the news feeds there. And just like ChatGPT would produce information in split seconds, the AI does the heavy lifting here. The AI does the work. The AI has the speed, and the AI is bringing these results. It's incredible. Now, that's just one of their products, guys, and they've 10 or 12 more. They've one called the EXI Pro Bot. You can learn about that later. They've one called the Zeus Bot. You can learn about that later. And they have this wonderful card, and this was quite exceptional as well. This card is available to everybody for $249 right now. They're going to have additional cards. Are going to be 4 different cards starting from $33, $66, $99. But the one they have available now is for $249. It's available in virtual format. In other words, you can set it up inside 3 or 4 minutes tonight if you wish. That card allows you to spend cryptocurrency anywhere in the world. So if you make some profits and you'd like to go buy some shopping, you press stop trading, top up card, and the profit goes onto your Visa card. You can take out your smartphone, your cell phone, your mobile phone. On Apple Pay and Google Pay, you go tap in, you can spend your profits. If you make referral commissions, you can spend them on the card. Now, the physical card is hard to get. You can pick that up at live events that they do from time to time, or if you're in the district of their offices with appointment, you can go and get one of these. It's free alongside the virtual card. You don't actually need the physical card, but you can have it for no extra cost. And it's given out at events, or it's given out. There's something about there's different laws around the world. There's MiCA laws in Europe. There's different laws here and there. I'm not here to examine all them different situations. You've got to do your own due diligence on that, but maybe it's not possible to post these around the world. And that's why they hand them out at events. Or maybe you have someone that attending the office that maybe can pick up one on your behalf. But they are looking for a solution that they can send the physical card out as well. But the virtual card works perfectly, and many people are very, very happy with that. In fact, I started with this and now I don't use it. I use this one. My son was able, I'm not very technical, but my son was able to transfer to this, so I don't need to carry this around. I just have to have my phone, so it works quite well, but you can get both for the same price. Now, moving on, as I said, it works on Apple Pay and Google Pay. There will be 4 cards. One will start at $33, and that's a one-time fee. No monthly charges on this, $66.99 or $249. This is the one that's presently available. And they all have different limits and things like that. There's different things about it, but you can learn more about that later. At the moment, we feature the Infinity card, and people are very happy with it. I'd like to show you it working right now.
Here we go then, second official transaction.
No, purple and white. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Mina.
And these cards have been in operation, I believe, since June 2025. So they've been around for quite a while, and people absolutely love it. So with that said, that is the presentation over. Thank you so much for attending. Please do get back to the person that shared this information with you. Get your very valid questions answered. Do your due diligence. Seek professional advice before making any decisions. And I hope the decision you come up with is the right one for you and for your family. For those of you that like to stay on just for a few minutes, I need 5 minutes if you wish. I'd like to share, because someone asked me, could I explain to them the affiliate program attached to the foundation? And I'm happy to do that. It just takes a few minutes. Now, this company, we have evidence that the trading started with the EXI bot on the 11th of January 2023. And this was not designed for retail. This was not designed for you and me. This was set up for the high net worth individuals, for what's known as accredited investors, for what's known as VCs, venture capitalists, hedge funds. It was not designed for retail. However, they had been operating for 1.5 years, up until about September 2024. And they were advised, if they were going to launch an exchange, that a great mechanism to gather customer base would be to establish an affiliate program. Now, originally they said no to it. They weren't interested in that model. But in September 2024, they decided to test it, because Amazon have an affiliate program, which is very successful. Apple have an affiliate program. eBay have an affiliate program. Even Binance has an affiliate program. So they decided to run with it. And I think already it's like 40% of their business now is coming from the affiliate, and 60% is coming from the traditional big high net worth customers. But it just shows you how fast an affiliate program can bring them new business. Now, it's very, very simple program. It's not a multi-level thing. I thought it was like, when I looked at this slide, I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 7 levels. Isn't that what it looks like to you? And I said, is this a multi-level? No, it's not. This is a table for rewards, and it works very, very simple. Everybody starts as a Nova. Nova means new. And you're entitled to a 3% bonus if you share this idea with a customer, make a referral. We do it every day of our lives. We refer plumbers, electricians, coffee shops, movies we've watched, holiday destinations, clothes that we wear. We're doing it all the time, but we never make money. By simply referring a customer to the platform, you can get a 3% bonus on a deposit. So it's not very much money. You're not going to get rich. You can have 1 customer or 2 or 4 or 9 or 7 or 2,000, doesn't matter. It's just a single line affiliate program, and you get 3% on the customer deposits. That's it. You don't get anything else. However, if you'd like to get a pay rise and you'd like to change that 3% to 5%, then what you need to do is accumulate $7,500 of total client trading volume. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's say you had 2 customers and they did $100 each. That's not $7,500, so you don't qualify. But let's say one of those customers introduced a customer who did another $100. Well, there's $300. You're still not qualified. And let's say that person introduced another customer who you don't know, and they did $7,200. In total, through those 4 customers, you've now got $7,500. You get promoted instantly. What that means is you get 5% on deposits, of your own customers. If your own customer finds a customer, they're new, they get 3%, you get the difference. You're getting 2% on that customer who you don't know, and the next customer, and the next, and the next, to infinity generations in depth. No levels, just unlimited generations. You get an instant $100 cash bonus added to your account immediately. And then thereafter, every single day, as each of your customers, and theirs, and theirs, and theirs, and all of the customers in your entire community, you get 5% match on what they make. Even if you've only $100 and somebody puts in $100,000, you're getting 5% match on their account. Incredible. Incredible. Now, if you'd like a pay rise, and people love pay rises, if you want to get 7%, you need to go Vanguard. To go Vanguard, you have to promote 2 Voyagers. The good news is you don't have to find these people. These superstars could be anywhere in your network, as long as they're on 2 different lines. The 7,500 volume that you did previously, that stays. But as that grows to 8,000, 9, 10, 15, 25, once it reaches 25,000 of total community trading, you hit Vanguard, you get 7% on deposits. If a customer brings a customer, they're going to get 3%. That's what they get, that's what you get. But because you're on Vanguard, you get 4% on those customers who you don't know, and 4% to infinity generations. You get a 500 cash bonus. And then your daily matching bonus on the profit side of things is 7.5% every day. Imagine I was your customer, and let's say I made $100 today. You're going to get $7.5 from the company. If I make another $100 tomorrow, you get another $7.5 tomorrow. If I make $200 the next day, you get 15. But not just me, all of your customers, the ones you brought and the one they brought and they brought and they brought. It's a differential comp plan. So if a Voyager's getting paid 5%, you get the difference on the Voyager. All the other lines that aren't Voyager legs, you're getting the full 7.5% to infinity. Imagine you only had $200 or $300 trading, and one of your customers, 10 generations deep from another country, put in 10 Bitcoins in ZooSpot. You'd get 7.5% of what that customer gets paid to you in Bitcoin. You don't have any Bitcoin. If another customer put in Ethereum, you get paid Ethereum. If another customer put in BNB, you get paid BNB. So you can accumulate a portfolio of coins that you don't even have yourself, which is incredible. And if you've understood what I've said in those first 3 lines, those first 3 ranks, you've understood 80% of our comp plan, maybe 85%. Because to go higher in the promotional compensation, to get 9%, the volume needs to increase to 62 and a little bit more structure. To get to 12%, the volume increases to $250,000 and a little bit more structure. And it's just certain steps. As it grows and grows, you start going up these ranks. What I like is these cash bonuses. They sound great, don't they? A $1,000 bonus, a $2,000 bonus, a $5,000 bonus, a $10,000 bonus. Do you know there are people working companies for 40 and 50 years of their life, and when they retire, they get a little watch worth $2,000 or $3,000. Here, $10,000 bonus, you can do it. You can do it in weeks, you can do it in months. But there are 15 ranks to the top of the Aurum affiliate program. There's only 7 on the screen. If we go to the next page, elites enjoy a $20,000 bonus. Magnets get 50,000. Mythos gets 100,000 bonus. Legends who are on this call get 150,000 instant bonus. And if you'd like to be one of Bryan Benson's millionaires, we heard him speak earlier. I want to create 1,000 millionaires. That's what he said. Well, all you need to do is work your way towards Dominion. The Dominion bonus in itself is $500,000 instant bonus. You don't ask for it. You don't wait for it. It doesn't come at the end of the month. It comes immediately by smart contract right to your account the moment you achieve the rank. In fact, I've been speaking to many of the millionaires, and they told me, most of them told me, that they had $1 million in earnings prior to hitting the Dominion rank. Now, some of them, in fact, the $500,000 brought them over the $1 million earning, but maybe they'd earned 900,000. And once they hit Dominion, they got $500,000, which brought them up to 1.4 million in earnings. But it can be achieved without hitting Dominion. I'd rather say, hey, go Dominion, and you could nearly assume you're going to be one of Bryan Benson's millionaires. But anyway, there's other bonuses, $1 million, $2 million. It sounds airy-fairy, but I can promise you there are people on this presentation with you right now who are achieving all of these ranks. In fact, the highest ranking person on the call tonight is Archon. They've already made $1 million. And I know for a fact that they're about 7 days away from reaching the Pantheon level for a $2 million bonus. So if somebody else can do it, I believe you can do it. Of course, if you're brand new, you've got questions, you need to understand it a little bit more, but the company run trainings on a regular basis. So please get back to the person that shared this information with you. Take it seriously. Have a look at it. Get your questions answered. Understand it. But I want to say this to you, that every single customer that has started with the EXI bot has made money every single day since the day they started. And there's other customers have looked at it and have thought about it and are still thinking about it, and they're not making any money. But every single customer that's ever started with this EXI bot has made money every single day since the day they started. So I hope the decision you make is the right one for you and for your family. And I hope you get the due rewards for your hard labor. So with that said, I want to thank you tonight and thank you for attending. We've taken 40 or 50 minutes of your life, but maybe we've showed you something that could change your life, but not just for you and not just for your kids, but maybe for your grandkids. If you can achieve some of these type of incomes, this is life changing. We've changed a lot of lives already. Are you going to be the next? So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again, same time, same link tomorrow night for another presentation where you might invite your guests where they can learn a little bit more. It's just an information channel. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to offer you my referral link. I'm just here to share information to help you understand it a little bit better. With that said, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the claps. And I wish you every success in your decision. Thank you and good night. Bye.